How's it going? This is Jack Taylor with Four Corner Sports. I'm here with Shweta Sangwan of the women's tennis team. Sorry about that. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm living the dream. I get to interview you. This is awesome. So I'm going to take things back to the beginning, talk about your transfer from moving from India into the IMG Academy. Now, IMG today is a very flashy, luxurious academy. They're known for football, basketball, and all the uniforms and the money poured into that place. What was it like to play tennis there?
I mean, it was definitely one of a kind of an experience, people still recognize me. They're like, "Oh, you went to IMG Academy, how was that?" Like, it was super cool and all that stuff. I mean, it was once in a lifetime experience, definitely. Like, not everybody gets to go to like a all athlete high school, and it was like basically experiencing college before college. Like, it was like a mini college, and I was surrounded by athletes all the time, and we had so many similarities. So it was a crazy experience. I mean, I was just lucky enough that I got 100% right to go there because it's a super expensive academy, which I could never afford, So I'm just grateful to go there, and also like the connections I made from there with my coaches, like, getting coached by Nick Bollettieri, who has coached like 10 world number ones and, in his lifetime. So that was a very good experience, I would say.
Not just him, but Coach Zessinger said some pretty kind things about you. She was quoted saying that you were a part of setting the culture for the entire academy. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I remember like all the work that I had to put in, and how as a scholarship kid I was a little different than the ones who maybe like were personally funding themselves to go there. Like, even if like, let's say coaches said like take the Saturday or Sunday off, as a scholarship kid I was like, no, I have to play on Saturdays. You sort of have to set the culture, and like you can't just take the day you want off or like anything like that because somebody's paying for you to be there. Like, this Indian sponsor was paying for me to be there, so like I wanted to represent them in the right way. So I mean, I know what she means by that. Like, she was definitely the role model that I looked up to. Like, her and Coach Alison Silverio have been the two female role models in my life that I look up to, and I learned so much from her. So like, the setting the culture, like, it was a good feeling. It was a lot of pressure at times, and I think that only made me better because then I had that experience, and then I could set the same culture that I wanted here at the women's tennis team. Like, I had that experience that I can change a culture of a place. So that definitely helped coming in here.
And you've certainly done that here. I mean, you've been a part of the culture at University of Oregon. But I have a question about, at an all-athlete high school or academy, was the gear just as cool as it is at U of O?
Yeah, it was nice that we got free gear, and like, actually, like, my freshman year I got less gear here than I got at IMG Academy. We would get so much gear, and you had to match in the weight room. So like, a lot of it was very similar to how it is in college. You match as a team. So like, when we would go to weights, we could only wear Under Armour, and we always had to match and stuff like that. So that was very nice, and not being able to pay for like gear when you're in high school, like, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Right, absolutely. Okay, how about, I read an article about you in ESPN. I just want to, you don't have to talk too much about the content, but what was it like when that article was published and you saw your name associated with the biggest sports publication in history?
I mean, I didn't think of it like that at first, but like, now that you say it, it sounds pretty awesome. But yeah, so they reached out to Coach Zessinger actually, and then she reached out to me saying that like ESPN wants to do an article on like your journey here, all the way from India, and like how, like, what you did at IMG for all these years. And it was pretty awesome. Like, and it was like actually my first kind of interview where I told my like life story a little, and then it coming out and like being published, like, that was very nice. And but after that, like, I've had like so many people approach me through Facebook or like back home, and they're like, "Oh, how did you get into this? How can we like help?" Like, they sort of see me as a mentor for like their kids. So like, a lot of parents reach out to me on Facebook and ask me like how can we get this scholarship, or like how, like, what's the best next move we can make, since I sort of have that experience of like traveling overseas and going to an academy. So that's been very nice because I always love helping out people. So that the fact that people reach out to me after that article, that's something like I wanted for it to happen, like a bigger purpose than me just like obviously like being in the headlines, but then also like other people noticing that, and like that helping the community, I would say.
And tennis is a 1 to 2 player sport max, but you've always been about the team and the community. Where did that come from? Where did that stem from? Is it parenting or just your peers?
Yeah, I would say it's probably my parents. Like I've always wanted to do things that are like just bigger than myself. Like I've always wanted to do things like for the legacy of this program. Like till this day, like whenever I step out on the court, like I'm like I know I don't have my old coaches here, Coach Allison and Coach Tony, who recruited me to come here, but like I play for them still. Like I'm like everything that they've taught me so far. Like I want to like show it to the best of my ability my senior year, and like make them proud. So I always sort of like do it for others, like rather than myself. Like I always want to give back and like always want to show people that how thankful I am for them helping me throughout my life journey.
And some of the amazing things you do expand past the grounds of University of Oregon. I'm going to bring up the senior living center that you went to. It's called, let's see here, Waterford Grand. Is that correct? Waterford Grand, can you tell me a little bit about that project and then maybe elaborate on the whole peach cobbler thing?
Yeah, so I actually went to that for one of my journalism classes since I'm a advertising major, and I went there for this gateway class that everyone has to take in journalism school. So I chose to do my project on like elder care because I didn't really know much about how elder care worked in the US. So I went to this event, and like it was just nice seeing these people. Like first of all, like the place was super nice, it was like a hotel. I wasn't expecting that, and I was like, wow, like they live in a life like this. Like so that was pretty nice. And then I went to the community events, like, and it was just seeing them, and like I actually got really close to the coordinator who was helping me, and she was super sweet. She told me about all about her like life story and when she moved to Oregon and like stuff like that. So I think that was like very neat, like getting that experience out of it. Like obviously like I had to cut down the video and all that. Like the project was like I essentially went there for my class project, but like it was something that like it was something more that I got out of that, and covering their event and like seeing how happy these people were, like going to a peach cobbler or something, and like I sort of related to it in the sense because I don't have my parents here, like my family members, and these people living at Waterford Grand didn't either. So that I could relate to them, and like just seeing them happy, it was nice.
And you got to play a little bunco, right?
Yeah, we played bunco, and I interacted with them like quite a bit actually. Like I don't know, it was just nice to do, and like we were in season. I think that I did that in spring last year, so I would like bike over there, and it would take me like 40 minutes each way, but like it was worth it. It was worth it.
That's serious commitment. Okay, so I have some questions about, and no pressure to admit to anything, but there's some hidden talents on this tennis team. There's some singers and whatever else. Do you have anything that you're keeping, hidden?
I mean, I like to paint in my free time. Definitely not a singer or something, but I did this painting in high school, and anyone I show it to, like they're like, oh, dude, you could sell this or something. I'm like, yeah, you probably could have. Like, it was a pretty sweet painting, not gonna lie, but I haven't really found the time to paint as much in college, and like I try, but like actually like for my 20th birthday, which was like last month, my coach gave me this like painting like canvas thingy, and like I don't know, it's like I guess the brush works like you put water in it, and then like you paint it on a canvas, and like it stays for about 5 minutes and it goes away, and it sort of like teaches you to like be appreciative and like be in the moment, because then it disappears, like whatever you draw. So that was pretty cool. So like she definitely knows that like I like painting, and like for her to be so thoughtful and think about giving me that present, that was very nice. So that sort of showed the relationships I guess I've created here.
That's kind of a nice like metaphor about not growing attached to things and just being able to start anew.
Yeah. So like that's actually like been one of my main focuses this year, because I was I was very close to my old head coach, and I'm still adapting to that, the change. But I think my new coaches have realized that. I've spoken to that about that. Like I'm a pretty honest person, so I've told them like, obviously the change, it's been very hard for me. So like for her to like give me that gift, it was sort of like just enjoy where you are in the moment and don't worry about anything else, like how your senior year is gonna go, or like how the coaching change works or anything like that, and just enjoy what you're doing and do it to the best of your ability. So it was like sort of like a hidden message in there. So
Before we started this interview, you grilled me with the haunting senior question of what I'm going to do after graduation. So if you'll share with us, I'd love to ask you, do you have any plans? Do you want to keep playing tennis? What's the...
Yeah, so I mean, my obviously my biggest goal would be to keep playing tennis, but with that I also realized the funding for tennis is very expensive. Like, like having a coach that coaches you like full time and having an academy and then paying traveling expensive. So like I definitely want to look into playing professional tennis and find some sort of funding, but we'll see how that goes, like but if that doesn't work out, like I definitely want to like stay in the States and like work in like the business industry or like advertising or like maybe even college athletics, because I've been around this so much. But like business would be like where I would want to work, at least like see how it is, because I think my brain works great with numbers, so like that's something I would love to do. But I definitely want to stay in the States because I mean this place is known for the land of opportunity, so like I would want to start my career here.
Well, me and the rest of the crew at Four Corner Sports are definitely rooting for you, and we want to say thank you for sitting down and doing this interview with us.
No, thank you to you guys, for bringing the story, I don't know, sharing the story with others and like letting other people see the other side of athletes, because I think that has power to it.
You are so much more than a tennis player, so we had to do something.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, that is the end of our interview with Shweta. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in and stick around for another interview. Bye-bye.